Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. My name is Sohum and I'm on a mission to spread peace, love, and positivity through music. Today I'm bringing you another triple reaction to Buck 65. We'll be checking out the songs Drawing Curtains, Drunk Without Drinking, and lastly Who by Fire, which features a new artist, Jen Grant. I've never heard Jen before, so this will be my first time listening to her, and we all know with Buck 65 what to expect at a very high level, a lot of lyrical complexity and a lot of complexity in the music production. And for me, I don't want to go into it with too much more mental baggage and other preconceived notions, because every time that I do hear Buck 65, I'm blown away for another separate reason. So honestly, I'm just excited to hear more from this genius of a man. And that is all thanks to Graham the Encouraging for making this donation request and the selections today. As always, Graham, it is much appreciated, and thank you for bringing more Buck 65 to my attention and the channel. But now, we jump in. Ferocious bass line. And these like xylophones above. What a cool pairing of textures immediately.
My force, my vows, Gypsy Madonna, all your beauties in your eyebrows, don't touch them.
Je fais le dernier pas.
Silently, finally.
I feel all the fear.
There's like some French in my left headphone from a woman and then Buck in my right.
Don't touch them.
Je fais le dernier pas.
Silently, finally.
I feel all the furies of love violently. Flowers in the rain.
Wildfires in the orchard.
Singing through the pain. I beg to feel torture.
Oh wow,
Chaos,
some masochism.
everyone else is boring.
Let's make dirty babies until the morning.
Love, how much deeper can this get? Show me.
That's very erotic.
Hurts and kiss.
Oh wow.
Je le mystère de l'amour. Love, how much deeper can this get? Show me where it hurts.
And they're alternating syllables here. Oh my word.
Show me where it hurts and kiss. Je l'envers de je le mystère de l'amour. Love, how much deeper can this get? Show me where it hurts and kiss.
Whoa. This is so sensual.
Unbelievable, you make it except for my diamond.
Impure evil, searching for explosions in the dark.
I'm dying.
Blinded.
This is almost like an elevated seduction that is kind of conveyed by the production, but also in the back and forth. And if you think of like anything erotic, anything sexual, it has to be a back and forth reciprocity, both being engaged in the board games, right? So the back and forth, that just feels extremely intimate and a smart way to keep me immediately engaged.
Check for explosions in the dark.
I'm dying.
Blinded.
I want to spend the rest of my life trying.
Tout compte.
Swallowing.
Le monde.
Hoping.
Je dessine à la sanguine le lit.
Blowing kisses where you open.
Feels I was guilty at first sight.
It's like I see your pain and I want to heal it with my love and desire.
How much deeper can this get? Show me where it hurts and let me kiss.
Wow, I really love this.
Je le mystère de l'amour. Love, how much deeper can this get? Show me where it hurts and let me kiss. Je l'envers de l'amour. Je le mystère de l'amour.
Courtois,
Fire
right?
back and forth.
Until the legs dance hysterical, trying to vanish.
I enter the miracle. I pay every day my heavy pleasure to be your sin.
You're taming my measure, being out or being in.
Full of pluie,
For religion,
full of glass.
forbidden.
It's continuous, come and go between your kidneys hidden.
And after the holy mess, we make you wash my hair.
While the smoke makes pretty design.
The holy mess. I mean, this is just all about intimacy.
And after the holy mess, we make you wash my hair.
While the smoke makes pretty designs in the air. Love,
Sick,
how much deeper
sick
can this
get?
show me where it hurts and
Let me
kiss.
sit.
On fait de
L'amour trop.
je
La mystère de l'amour pour toi.
love,
Sick,
how
much
much deeper
sick
can
and
this
get?
show me
Where it hurts and
Let
let
me
me kiss it.
sit.
Je
Joue
envers de
l'amour
Super
et
trop.
je
Jouis
le
mi
style de
l'amour
court.
toi.
Oh, even the breathy delivery from them both, it just feels like I'm like behind the curtain right now. Not in the voyeuristic sense, but it's very intimate in the studio. I'm back to that like interesting floor of a texture. Wow, I just realized I didn't mean to make the curtain comment, but the song titled Drawing Curtains, lends itself easily to that. That was awesome. Oops. I guess there's a silence here. Ooh, let's talk about it. I really love every part of that. I think it's super novel to incorporate the back and forth, handing off of each syllable of each word in, especially the chorus is where it got repeated a lot. It's really cool stylistically, and I also think it just fits the song remarkably well. Again, you have that reciprocity when you are being intimate with somebody, and I also am impressed by the fact that it's not just during the act, if you will. It's all about, let's say, the foreplay as well. It's the anticipation of the activity, and then even afterwards, talking about after the holy mess, you'll wash my hair. The intimacy doesn't start and stop with the sex. The intimacy is throughout. It's sort of foundational to the relationship, and it doesn't have to just end once the orgasm occurs. And that, to me, I think is a healthy way to engage with intimacy in general, especially with somebody who you love, or maybe even more, especially with somebody who, is, let's say, new to you and you're new to them. Treating each other with respect and love and care and adoration. It doesn't even matter if you, have a long-standing relationship. Intimacy is a very baked into the word intimate activity, caked with vulnerability, and it's a dance. Back and forth you go, creating the perfect environment for your connection is what makes the intimacy actually worth it, rather than just mechanical and as a way to relieve momentary hurt through hedonistic pleasure. This feels a level deeper, to complete the pun there. I really like that. That was an amazing listen. Let's see what he's got next. Drunk Without Drinking.
Hey boys, I've come a long way. Hey boys, I've come a long way. Oh boy, I've come a long, lonesome way, along in the sun and the rain.
What am I doing here? No star hotel, wasting my wealth and telling myself to go to hell. My arm in a cast, my heart like a corn cob. Do not disturb sign hanging on the doorknob. My brain is unplugged, my life in my luggage. My cruelty is dependable, my ugliness is rugged. Smoke still slow dances out of my barrel.
I mean, just the lyricism already. You just immediately need to start thinking here. I just love the idea of his entire life in the luggage, almost like he's on the move, a nomad. And then following it up with my cruelty is dependable. That is an interesting one.
My life and my luggage, my cruelty is dependable, my ugliness is rugged.
Rugged.
Smoke still slow dances out of my barrel. In the distance I can hear a kid singing a Christmas carol, and this is terrible, gorgeous and sinister. The pillow still smells like the secret to my visitor. No one needs to know about this kind of thing. Blood on my back from the attack of her diamond ring, and me of all people, my mind's in a tailspin. I'm just a door-to-door encyclopedia salesman. Part of me feels like dirt, and the rest doesn't know she said I'm a way better lover than her husband.
Oh God, he's part of, this is like some adultery that's happening basically.
Part of me feels like dirt, and the rest doesn't know she said I'm a way better lover than her husband.
Wow. Wow. The thing is, he's not grounded, so he's constantly on the move, willing to destroy whatever's in his path, right? Dependable cruelty.
Where am I going? Backwards to nowhere in another man's shoes instead of my own pair. I promised discretion and to be at her beck and call. I look like a dandelion and feel like a wrecking ball. I ran out of wishes, and then she came to offer hers.
Because that's what they call a person who's the third in an adultery kind of situation, right? They are the home wrecker, therefore they become the wrecking ball. And so I promised her discretion. I was going to keep it all a secret and keep it to myself, and I would just answer whenever she needed me. So in a sense, I've become her emotional plaything and just fun person to be around, sort of consuming a bit of the role of the actual husband, and he's just taking that role because it serves him, but not because he's actually taking the responsibility for any of the other engagement you would have with a lifelong partner. And because it's all caked in deception, caked in, secrecy and all of the other negative things that are associated with cheating and philandry, he's at least being very honest with his conduct here, despite it not being the most moral.
Like a dandelion and feel like a wrecking ball. I ran out of wishes, and then she came to offer hers. Looking at myself in the mirror, I'm at a loss for words. I'm good at my job, going out of my mind, kinda holding my face in my hands like fine china.
Wow, because I'm about to break. I don't even know who I am in the mirror. So he picks up from town to town, job to job, constantly destroying along the way. Wow. Dude, I really enjoy Buck 65. It's so fun to unpack a lot of it.
We met up again, went undercover literally. I told her about Cuba, I told her about Italy, physics and photography, a little Russian history. Everything about her to me was such a mystery. I gave her the once over, she gave me...
Jesus Christ. I mean, it's so real because, they're in that intimate situation with one another, and now he's telling her about all of his conquests, all of his exploits, the places he's been, because of course he's a traveler, he goes around, and now if you flip the script, he knows nothing about her. He doesn't actually care because he knows intrinsically he's about to move on too. So it's all in service to him, let's say, showing his worldliness to this person, and they're looking at it like, oh my God, I don't have this in the person that I am currently with. But it's all smoke and mirrors because it's not true substance. It's all groundless.
History. Everything about her to me was such a mystery. I gave her the once over, she gave me the blood blister. She had no idea I was falling in love with her.
Oh,
Call
wow.
me Mr. Crucial inspiration. All she wanted was my lust and useful information. What am I putting myself through this crap for? Feels like I'm standing on top of a trapdoor.
Wow.
Lost at sea, tangled up in golden hair, scavenger hunter. My life is like a folding chair. My daily routine is down to a system.
Right.
I give the regular people truth and wisdom. That's what I do. It's my job to profit. I can see the future and make money off it.
Wow. he knows the system, but he doesn't have to take part in it. He's contributing to the same problem. It's going to self-perpetuate. He's going to stay stuck there forever. Wow. Drunk without drinking. What an interesting concept, because I was thinking the song was gonna be about like alcoholism, right? Drunk without drinking. I'm in that kind of high state without actually consuming the substance, but it's almost like he's kind of reforged his life to produce that feeling of being high through all that he does, through the constant movement, through the constant philandering, through not, let's say, tapping into his moral self. He's just doing whatever he can do logically and is able to rationalize it almost infinitely, because if you don't ground yourself in some kind of morality outside of who you are, then everything logically can be justified. And so in a sense, whatever effect he wants for his life and self, he's able to achieve it even without the actual underlying substance. Does that make sense? So if he had substance for real, then he would also feel the repercussions of what he's doing. Because if he was drinking constantly, then you would feel the physical effects, the physiological effects, the chemical, psychological, all of that, right? But he's able to get everything that he wants seemingly on the surface without any of the downside. Now, he does mention like, okay, I've gotten into a whole lot of fights, but to me, it doesn't seem like he's not very like emotionally riled or affected by much of his conduct here. So he's getting all of the benefit and none of the downside. And, it is a relatively like powerful position for him to be in, because then he can just pick up and move. But the woman's life is destroyed. There's not a equal share of risk there. And you can even see that like inequality in the way that he engages with her. He'll share everything about himself because why not? It serves him well. It is the truth. He's not lying. He's not being deceptive, but he's also not building an emotional connection with that person past what is expected. And, I don't know, it just ends up being more fruitless in the end, in my estimation. But, there's a whole lot of conversations we can have about like adultery, about frivolous, like sexual intimacy with strangers, and we don't have to have it fully here, but I just think that in this specific case, he's getting everything that he wants, and it doesn't matter about how it affects anybody else. Let's keep going. Who by Fire. Oh, I like that chord right there.
And who by fire, who by water, who in the sunshine, who in the nighttime.
Oh, you can hear Jen's voice kind of hugging the outside of Buck's.
In the sunshine, who in the nighttime, and who by high ordeal, who by common trial, who in your merry, merry month of May, who by very slow decay, and who shall I say is calling?
Wow.
And who in her lonely slip, who by barbiturate, who in these realms of love, who by something blunt, and who by avalanche, who by powder, who for his greed, and who for his hunger
love the texture from the strings.
And who by brave ascent, who by accident.
You know, I almost don't even know what's happening in this song. My like best estimation with this repetition of who by, it's almost like who is going to stay by my side through all of the ups and downs of life. Who by the fire, who by the greed, who by all of my humanity will ride this ride with me is what it seems.
By accident, who in solitude, who in this mirror, and who by his lady's command, who by his own hand, who in mortal chains, who in power, and who shall I say is calling.
Oh, I love the beat so immediately. Dude, Buck is so underrated. I really wish he was more mainstream, but I guess it's fine. We'll be there to appreciate. Whoa, the strings, they're just like in different places, you know? This feels like a statement song. Oof. There you have it. That is Buck 65, Who by Fire. Wow, after all three of these songs, I just come away with even more respect for Buck 65. He engages with his lyricism in such an honest way, because it is very easy for anything that we reveal about ourselves, the good, the bad, the ugly, to be met with a lot of fear of being vulnerable, because of course there's always judgment on the other end of it that often comes from a place of either animosity, vitriol, or someone's own hurt. But to be able to reflect on these different aspects of our own humanity that don't feel as comfortable, to me that is an extremely brave thing to do, because it's just an honest look at what is going on under the hood, rather than kind of polishing everything and making it seem all good, prim and proper for the cameras. And I think in the society that we live in now, it is so much more the case that people are willing to misrepresent who they are in fear of the social backlash. And understandably so, we do live in a society where we have to kind of shame one another into certain more, let's say, preferable behaviors, but I don't think shame really is a good tactic. I think on the balance of probabilities, if we had to choose something like shame versus positive reinforcement, even though studies may show that, okay, shame in certain circumstances can work, I think the direction that we ought to go as conscious creatures of the universe should be one where we are encouraging to one another. We look at the objective situations as they unfold and lead with empathy and understanding, and then try to move the needle in a way that seems societally preferable. We could talk about subjective and objective morality a different time. I'm not a philosopher by any means, but the way I think about it is we all collectively have a role to play in the society. Despite us not choosing to be born where we were, we are now a part of this social contract. Therefore, in a roundabout way, we all have some responsibility to take for ourselves and one another to improve the society that gives us a lot of, benefits, safety, whatever. Not to say that society is perfect and that there aren't negatives as well, but think about the direction we want to move towards rather than the problems that exist now. Being able to have honest conversations about how we as individuals feel about anything has to be the first step. So often these days people are fearful to share their perspectives and opinions because of the, I would say, almost overreaction in response, the immense and sometimes very curated backlash meant to silence rather than to unify. It's problematic and it applies to pretty much anything. That's why I haven't even in this discussion brought up anything about the contents of each of these songs. But if we do dive that step deeper, human interaction, it is all too complicated to just distill into one or two or three songs. The first two definitely about intimacy and then about adultery, to me are very revealing about how one individual's intentions in the same action could, how can I say this, be completely different to the intentions of another, and therefore the outcome of a shared activity may be felt differentially by both parties. And that isn't necessarily the best approach, though it can be ethical if led with honesty. But I think sometimes people are not honest with themselves. So despite entering a certain situation where it feels like mutually beneficial, those benefits aren't experienced equally. And at least that should be a salient trade-off that one is making. Hopefully all that made sense. But again, I'm super impressed by Buck. I will always do more reactions to Buck if you let me. So if you'd be interested in making a reaction request yourself, please hit the first link down below. But as always, my friends, have a wonderful rest of your day. Take care and peace.